politics is really about how we choose to lead our lives, personally within, interpersonally with those of us whom we engage, family, lovers, family, co-workers, friends, community, and so forth. And how we then do our politics, which is our social expression of who we are. One of my friends, Stan Commons, once said the politics we do is who we are. So my vision of myself, my human nature potential, informed my politics. And so my humanistic faithful belief came to me as I was starting work in the Capitol. Since I worked about self-esteem, holistic health, wellness counsel, affective domain learning, violence prevention, ethical leadership and governance, all informed by this faithful vision of human nature. And so the 16-point agenda we conceived of, or drew together, were around self-esteem and birthing, natural childbirth, positive parenting, inspiring education, higher education, holistic health, individuality and community merged as coherent, not contrary, which is pretty radical, because before the 60s, before the 30s, we used to have lots of community and no individuality. I was taught to a Protestant church for a moment and go to hell forever, and believed that much too long. And then we broke out of the community, no individuality, into the 60s, this individuality, no community. And the synthesis of that transition is to put together individuality and community which support each other. That communities turn people free, parents turn their children free to become responsible adults. To become adults anyway, you may as well help them become responsible adults rather than be fear, shame, guilt-ridden who go through life addicted to violence or greed or drugs or other than themselves. So this is not just an abstract feel-good doctrine. It is that which informs how we grow and develop our character and our identity and our values. The issue of your vision of yourself is central towards how you look at anybody else. Because how I approach you, Michael, or anybody else in my life, and the most intimate, the most international, the same rules apply. And if I believe I'm inclined towards good, then I'll believe you are. And I'll approach you rather than closed and cynical and frightened and armed. I'll approach you faithful and hopeful and embracing. My best friend and I, Mitch Saunders, coined this little phrase that we ought to either sit open or closed, either cynical or faithful, then open or closed, trusting or suspicious, armed or embracing. And those are choices we make in every encounter of our lives, within ourselves and between ourselves and among ourselves, including politically. It's all of a piece. And if people could understand that, I think we could much more readily get along and recognize we're at different stages of healing and development. But it's not that you're evil and I'm good. I mean, if I'm basically good by nature, so must you be, and vice versa. And that it changes the bias. And I think a lot of people today, at least in the Western world, I don't know the other world at all, are raising their children with more affection and acceptance and nurturance and inspiration and liberation to be whole, embodied individuals who get persons, we can become persons, who can lead lives of integrity and productivity and individuality and community altogether. So it's a major turning point in history. So we're in unfamiliar territory. And the first inclination is be careful, be afraid, be cautious, don't take risks. And with the world plummeting forward in the ways that it is, that is not a pathway that is likely to produce salutary results. We've got to face reality, believe we can cope with it, and engage ourselves with people who believe like we do, and then attend to it. It's kind of it's not easy, but it's simple. And now that I've got the formula clear, and the agenda set, and the pathway pointed out, why would people not come join me on it? You know, it's an invitation, not to come join me on my terms, but come look at it, and if it fits your vision and your hopes and your aspirations, then become a partner with me and help me design it better. What drives me crazy, most people say, well, you haven't got this done, or you haven't got that done. I said, no, I got the formula, and I got the agenda, and I got the pathway. Could you do something yourself? Could you help that? You know, and so I'm looking for people who are who are restless, who are worried, and better be worried than too frightened or fearful, and people will be fearless and chart new courses, chart new territory, follow Harmon's leads, and follow our own hearts. And I believe that we can truly, at this point in time, we can and we must stand up to the task and become persons of wholeness and integrity and healing and hope and the capacity to trust and believe in our own goodness and each other's, and to put our lives on the line. We have a new economy, a lot of it based here in Silicon Valley, where I was born and raised and lived. It's global, it's digital, it's knowledge-based, and while it's greed-afflicted and still troubled, it's a whole new economy we're boast of. We cherish our new demography, women as equals, gays out of closets, us out of nursing homes, races all at the table. No one even questions that anymore, but for a few people, very few people. And we have a new consciousness around self-esteem, spirituality, sexuality, embodiment, authenticity, transparency, different sense of self. So we have new economy, new demography, new consciousness, and we're stuck with the same old politics. Top-down, cynical, controlling, divisive, and dysfunctional. And that can't be made to fit these. So we got to just acknowledge it and then start over. And look at what's happened in the last 50 years now, since the 60s, and I call the 7 revolutions. Revolution in gender, revolution in race, revolution in age, all about our bodies and shapes, but all towards identity, autonomy, liberation, revolution in economy, technology, and communications that profoundly upend all the old ways of communicating. You used to have Gutenberg did a Bible, and 18 folks were allowed to read it. Now any kid, 13 or even younger, can get on and broadcast his views to the whole world, virally in 24 hours. So all the old forms of top-down are just disintegrating as we're integrating and liberating and healing ourselves. And the 7th revolution is added about self-esteem and human vision of human nature. And those 7 revolutions mean you can't put something back together again. You can't go back to women in the kitchen, gays in the closet, blacks in the cotton field, Mexicans under sombreros. I mean, it's like silly. We're here to stay. We're here to welcome each other. We're here to welcome ourselves. And that's the beginning point of the capacity to be welcoming of others and their individuality and diversity and not be threatened because they're different from me. Politics, when I arrived there, was more a matter of common ends, no matter the party, and contrary sense of means, which we negotiate. And you can negotiate means. So I want 8 billion, you want 3 billion, we do 5 billion. That was easy. We were friends, went out drinking it, But now we're in this change of cultures and clash of cultures where politics is not about means, it's about identity. Identity is not negotiable. And so for those who are convicted of their own evilness or sinfulness, their commitment to identity is in wealth and power and privilege. And so giving that up threatens their identity, and it's not negotiable. So you say that they're not concerned with the big picture. They are, but they see it as being about control and about wealth and about enforced violence, and that's how they come to the game. And to stop the government is to them important because government tends to both act for all of us, like airports and transportation and schools, but act against those of us who violate, whether it's murderers or burglars or those who say you can't pollute the streams or you can't pollute the atmosphere. So the government is the antithesis for many folks of freedom, economic freedom, and freedom to rape the land. And as long as that's your belief system, then you will be in government to take it down.